supernatural beings frequently visit or cling to a particular place is popularly known as haunting. These beings over time have been given numerous names, and every culture has its beliefs as to why such beings refuse to cease their torment on the land of the living. The question, however, differs for each spirit, as most of them have their reasons as to why they refuse to leave. Sometimes it could be a loved one they've chosen to protect, other times it was against their will and they have simply been trapped. Other times, or should I say most times, it all comes down to one thing: vengeance. But whatever the reason may be, ghost stories become particularly intriguing when the places these benevolent creatures choose to haunt could give them little to no reason to seek eternal vengeance. High school could give you some of the best or worst moments of your life. But despite all its emotions and experiences, the halls of a school are a place you think a ghost would cling to forever. The El Paso High School, however, has proven many skeptics wrong, and is now notoriously known as the most haunted school in the world. The question we're all asking ourselves is, what could have happened that gave the school such a reputation? This is the story of the El Paso High School and the haunted cases that come with it. The El Paso High School was officially opened for students in 1916. And from the first day it was cited as one of the most beautiful pieces of architecture in the city, and was basically considered a landmark from day one. Hence why it was given the name Lady on the Hill. The campus always had a distinct elegance, setting it apart from any other structure in the city, with marble floors, and boasting one of the first concrete stadiums in the United States. Between 1922 and 1923, however, the school's name was briefly changed to Sam Houston High School, at the request of the local chapter of the Ku Klux Klan, better known as the KKK. This change didn't last long, as the community furiously spoke out against the Klan, leading the original name to be restored. Over the years, the school became one of the best in the world, with great alumni and athletic teams competing on the highest levels, but of course with such a long history of success and promise. Darkness was not too far from the gates of the school. The encounters with paranormal and ghostly figures go almost as far back as the first day the school opened its gates. The first meeting the school had with the dead was during the World Wars, where it served as an overflow morgue due to the fact the actual morgue couldn't hold any more bodies. So the school's immense basement temporarily held bodies that were shipped into El Paso from the Spanish flu until their families were informed. In World War II, the school was also considered a bomb shelter, again due to the size and maze-like structure of its large basement. Many believe this was the school's first real mistake, and was the first step in inviting the dead into the halls. The school's out of past doesn't end there. However, as recent research has also revealed, students discovered classrooms from the early 20th century in the same basement where the bodies were kept. What made these rooms even more intriguing was the fact that, apart from the dust that had covered the basement, these rooms remained in pristine condition and appear to have been hastily sealed and blocked off, with no recorded reason as to why. For the sake of their children and, through skepticism, the parents hope there's no truth behind these haunted stories, but the uncovered basement classrooms are just the least of a string of strange occurrences that would happen at the school. Some of the early reports of death in the school came from an early copy of the El Paso Herald-Post, which was the local newspaper of the area at the time. The specific copy was printed in October 1935, and stated that 3 deaths occurred in the school within the year before the paper told us. A former custodian died of a heart attack, a student dropped dead in the gymnasium, and only a month before a janitor fell dead of indigestion. Also, in more recent times, facility and students have both given reports of hallways suddenly filled with mist, gooey substances leaking from the school's ceilings, and walls creaks cracks. Shadows could also be heard and seen when there was no one around. Of course, the school tried to maintain some exactness and would punish students who frightened others, to the point where they left school out of fear. This, however, wasn't working out, as the teachers who handed incarcerations were just as afraid as the kids they were trying to protect. Over the years, the reports kept flooding in as more people reported slamming doors, and the sounds of pep rallies and games going on in the school gym. This happened multiple times. And every time it would occur, the school staff and even locals would inspect the gym and discover absolutely nothing. Word of a haunted school traveled fast through El Paso, and students from other schools would talk and whisper about what their friends had seen and heard while studying at El Paso High School. One of the most infamous cases was of a girl who slit both her wrists, stood on the balcony of the school, and proceeded to jump to her death. The hallway and stairwell leading to the balcony where the girl took her life had since been cut off, but the sighting of this particular ghost is a common occurrence. At the school, many students and faculty have claimed to see a girl standing on the balcony, sometimes jumping to her doom once again. The students who were brave enough sneaked into the blocked-off hallways and reported a strange slime falling from the ceiling and a light mist that covered the hall at least once a day before quickly evaporating. A teacher told a story where one lady, late night going home after work, he spotted a girl in an old blue dress standing at the end of a hallway. Now he was certain that the girl wasn't meant to be there, so he approached her and informed her to leave. The teacher claims that when the girl turned to face him, she looked extremely sad, and it was only at that moment he realized the girl was barely physical, liking the girl to mist, saying one moment she was there and the next, she faded away from existence. Now the El Paso High School Echo already had numerous ghostly and supernatural experiences, but the particular case that unveiled the school's haunting to the rest of the world comes from a class picture that was taken from the graduating set of 1985. Except among all the students and faculty seated for the picture, there was someone else present. Standing in broad daylight was a girl who no one had ever seen or knew anything about what made it. Even stranger was the fact that absolutely no one saw her while taking the actual picture. And the rest only found out she was there when looking at the yearbook picture they had all taken together. While looking at the photo, someone noticed that mixed in among the roll of teachers is a faded young woman in a white dress who no one knew anything about. During questioning, everyone in the photo insisted that the girl was never actually present when the picture was shot, with some even claiming they had perspiring palms during the photo shoot. Over time, people tried to explain the strange occurrence, but the girl didn't appear in the photo negative either, and the picture was taken years before anyone had even thought of creating Photoshop. So even after years of trying to understand what could have happened, there really is no possible explanation for the extra student. The class photo, however, now resides in a trophy case at the school, but to this day no one has been able to identify the extra student. The El Paso High School still functions today and remains one of the oldest and most historic landmarks in the United States. These cases aren't as frequent anymore, but no one denies that the school is one of the most haunted in the world. Believing that that place is not haunted doesn't make any sense, as the ghosts are part of the building character. The truth is, if these events have failed to relieve people of their skepticism about the haunted school, an important factor the public needs to remember is El Paso High was the first school built in the area. So in any event, if the government or general community needed something, the school would immediately be put to use. El Paso High School is a building that has stood for over 100 years and has witnessed and participated in different eras of secrets and horrific experiences for the community, and as such it is bound to hold some horror within itself. This is the truth of El Paso High School, and this is why no one would disagree when it is called the most haunted school in world. The most haunted school in world. The most haunted school in world.